instrumental soundtrack with orchestral elements, strings and soft percussion. The music showing inspiration and a sense of I love the money, cover what you do, care what you get and what we're looking to get the best. I probably love me do a power and a sense of
A cinematic instrumental soundtrack with orchestral elements, strings and soft percussion. The music should help inspiration and sense up in the mood. Okay, okay, okay. jazz instrumental track featuring smooth move and light bass. The tempo should be relaxed, yet steady, providing a calming and dating down. Now to use the focus while reviewing different topics like reading strategies or toxicology principles, ideal for maintaining a relaxed and productive study mood. A mellow jazz instrumental track featuring smooth move and light bass. The tempo should be relaxed, yet steady, providing a calming and dating down. Now to use the focus while reviewing different topics like reading strategies or toxicology principles, ideal for maintaining a relaxed but productive study mood. A mellow jazz instrumental track. Jazz instrumental track, we got to study room. The blocks and blacks, the light bass, the tempo should be right. Yet steady, providing the calm and engaging background. The colors still is the focus while reviewing different topics like breathing strategies, toxicology, physical rules, and relax with the productive study, the productive study room. Instrumental track, get you up to study mood. The blocks and lights and light bass, the tempo should be relaxed. Yet steady, providing a calm that engaging background. The courage still the focus while reviewing different topics like breathing strategies, toxicology, physical rules, and relax with productive study, the productive study mood. Productive study mood. study room. Soft as the morning tide rolls in, strings hum low where thoughts begin. Piano whispers in the breeze. Steady wave, steady flow, where your mind will surely go. Waves of focus carry you, gentle light breaking through. Keys like raindrops tapping time, a rhythm call, a steady climb. Percussion hums like distant shores. Steady wave, steady flow, where your mind will surely go. Whispers in the breeze. Steady wave, steady flow, where your mind will surely go. Waves of focus carry you, gentle light breaking through.
Good afternoon, everyone at home. My name is Bio-Edutainment Michael. I am here once again uh, on examination needs. This afternoon, we have come on a very different topic, and that is going to be what is going to be expected anytime we want to really write an exam. Okay, so I have just titled this one as a compiled educational slides based on toxicological cases studies and essay question. That is, in your upcoming examination, it is going to be a futile effort if after the your whole work throughout the semester and you are to write an exam and you don't even know where to focus and how to do it. And that's the reason why what we have today is going to be strictly based on what should be expected. It might not actually be 100% of what is expected, but where can you focus on and what are those things that you need to expect? And that's the reason why today we are going to spend a very little time when it comes to what to expect in principle of toxicology. Don't forget that in this course, it is a course that is being considered as a course. That is, toxicology is the study of the science of poison. So we are going to see all this in this place. Basically, the examination is going to be divided into two. The first aspect is going to be essay type question, and that is going to be as a result of a kind of documentary, a kind of case study that is going to be there. Then the next one, which is going to be section B or part B, is going to be strictly essay question, which is based on one topic or another. Don't forget that you should actually focus on some of our videos in the educational channel. That is, that one you have at Omega Bio-Edutainment, as well as those one that you have in Omega Bio Nexus. So don't forget this case. That is a repartisan case. So you are to go again once again, go and understudy the video that where a repartisan case actually dealt with a detailed toxicological investigation into this case, which involved the death cap mushroom and how toxicology, that is forensic toxicological analysis, was actually employed in to be able to unravel what really happened. Okay, so just like I said, it is going to be a detailed toxicological investigation that was actually there. I told you that if you listen to that video, you will see that the I said in that video that the investigation still continues because this case is actually still in progress. So I want you to actually go back again, watch that video. That's going to give you the insights, and you should be able to ask yourself a lot of questions as it regard to that case. Okay, that is that. Then the second aspect of it is the dancing plague of 1518. Don't forget that in this semester, that was the first video I actually asked you to go and watch, and it was actually based on what happened. That is, don't forget that there are different types of toxin, different types of poison, which could actually be from chemicals, it could be biological poison, and so on and so forth. So the historical analysis of the 1518 dancing plague in what happened in Strasbourg, exploring poisoning, which led to mass psychological illness and environmental toxicology. I want you to go back into this video, go and understudy it, ask yourself a lot of questions so that if any question come on it, you'll be able to answer it very, very well and very, very correctly. So don't forget that the first two is going to be divided into part A, part B. Part A will comprises of the historical background into into the course, which is toxicology, and it's going to be like a kind of a documentary there. So you are expected one way or the other to know that in the first part the question is going to be compulsory. The two questions will be compulsory, and it's going to attract the same marks, just so to say. Then the aspect, which is the second aspect, each question is going to carry 15 marks, and each of the question might have like three subsections. That is subsection A, question one, question 1A, 1B, 1C. That is the minimum. So you have to write your answer in a very simple, please mind that word, simple, clear, scientific English. Just like I told you, you have to go straight to the point. You don't have to be parabolating. You don't have to tell us too much story. Just be very, very simple. So, and you should be able to direct your response to all those questions, make them very simple, relatable, adaptable, in very scientific English. So that is what you are to expect. So this aspect is going to deal with a detail of fundamental toxicology. That is, you have to go back to your videos, go back to where you must have jotted one or two things, go back to them, and so that you'll be able to answer questions on this. Okay, now question is going to come from those response relationship. So you have to know this, those response relationship. Then when we talk of rules and mechanism of exposure, you are expected to even know something on that. And don't forget that you have to talk about your response should be simple. Your response should be wherever you're supposed to use scientific English, you should be able to use simple scientific English. It doesn't necessarily have to be just grammar, or it doesn't have to be anything that is too big grammar. Nobody is actually expecting that. So what we expect for you is to be able to respond to each question in a very simple, clear terms and in very simple English. So toxicokinesis is also going to uh, be part of that question. That is the journey. Toxicokinesis means the journey of toxin in you. If somebody is swallowing or if somebody is taking in any poison, so you have to tell us from the destination, sorry, from the starting point to the destination. That's what it is meant by toxicokinesis. For example, somebody accidentally swallow a poison now. So how is it going to start? Where is it going to start from? And how is it going to end? So you should be able to read more about this so that you'll be able to be able to provide more insight into any question or any question that might actually demand from you to be able to talk about toxicokinesis. Then you should be able to know how to classify and what are the different types of toxin that we have. So classification and the types. So you should be able to read more into that. Read more, go and consult all these videos at Bio-Edutainment as well as Bio-Edutainment. And don't forget that by the time you are also watching this video, also look at the sidebar, the some of the relevant. So YouTube is going to arrange all these topics for you as it relates to the video you have just finished watching. So go and make sure you watch that. That means it's not going to be my only video. There are other videos that you can also consult if any of these is not actually clear to you. Then don't forget that I told you that another word for toxin is poison. Is poison, and I told you that domestically 99% of the materials around us, even in our home, are poison. So what we can do is to make sure that we avoid swallowing them. So then don't forget that those I said those will actually determine the dosage will determine whether a material or a substance can be regarded as a poison or not. So please go and read that. Then under the types and classification, you should be able to focus on what are environmental toxicology, the scope of environmental toxicology, and what are those ones that occupational toxicology. So you should be able to refer to all these for you to be able to answer questions on it. Don't forget that in this part, I told you that there are going to be two parts. The first part is going to be test of your historical background, and there are two questions, minimum of two questions that will be given to you. But whichever the number, two or three, you will be required to answer all. Be required to answer all. Whereas part two or part B is going to be a bit optional. So whereby you will be able to give some option. Maybe out of five, you'll be asked to answer like three. You could be asked to answer four, depending as well. So then you should also come to do more research as it concerns risk assessment and management. How can you assess the risk of a poison in your body? So you should be able to talk about what are the procedures. You should be able to talk about what are the methods that you can employ in order to make sure that risk assessment and management is often at your fingertips. Okay. Now, you are also to focus or read more about what are antidotes and what are the first aid that can be given to somebody who has accidentally swallowed a poison. So you should be able to tell us, for example, somebody swallow hydrochloric acid, for example, what are the first aid that you can administer to that person before it will get out of hand, even before you'll be able to take the person to nearby clinic for proper medical attention. So you should be able to do that. Okay. Then, just like I told you, case study which involved the dancing plague of 1518. So you should be able to know, read more insight about this. It doesn't actually mean that because it is a history that you must just write a very big no. Just make sure you come out with all the specific points. You respond appropriately to only the question that is being asked from you. So nobody is asking you narrate from A to Z. No. So know the story so that if any whatever question that comes, you'll be able to answer that question correctly. And the case study of Eric Patterson, I told you that has to do with mushroom poisoning. This case study is very, very important for you. And don't forget that the first two parts is going to, I think, the part A is going to be like 60 marks. So each of these is going to be 30 marks. So you must never run away from shy away from answering questions on this. Once you do not do this part correctly, you should be expecting that even if you do all that is required from you in part B, you might not end up scoring more than 40% um, of the whole mark. So, but I want you to focus well, very, very well. Go back into that, consult history, consult historical book, consult other videos that are related to any of this. And I'm very, very sure that the case of Eric Patterson, which has to do with mushroom poisoning, we are going to have very limited material apart from the one you are going to watch on my YouTube. Okay, so principle of toxicology, just like I told you, is going to be each question will carry 15 marks, and if you are to answer 4, it's going to be like that. I have told you that uh, under normal circumstance, question 1 is going to be on fundamentals of toxicology, whereby you'll be asked to define toxicology and what are the basic branches. Then you will also be asked about what do you understand by acute versus chronic. Don't forget, what I need is just very simple. Don't write 2 3 lines. It's okay for me. Don't write don't write more than that. Just go straight to your point. Define toxicology, you define it. State the branches. The branches are this, and that's all. You go to B, acute versus chronic toxicity. So you tell us, what do you understand by acute? What do you understand by chronic? What are the differences between acute? What are the differences between chronic? What are the similarities between chronic? What are these? So what are the chemicals, examples of chemicals, or example of poisoning that can actually make you to classify this into acute, and what can make you to classify it into chronic. So I want you to also take note of that. And when you are talking of factors that are influencing, what are the factors that determine toxicity? So you should be able to tell us. So just like I said, toxicology is the scientific study of harmful effects of substances. That's all. Then the branches: forensic, clinical, and environmental. And if there are others, you just tell us. So the same thing, acute versus acute means immediate, like food poisoning. Chronic means long time, like that of a pesticide, which also is an inducer of cancer. Okay. Then factors that influences toxicity include the dosage, route of exposure, age, and the health status. All these are very, very important. Another factors that do that is the level of immunity of that individual. Another one is the nutritional. We can also talk about the nutrition, how well the person is actually feeling. So also influences that. So and so on and so forth. And those response relationship, you should be able to define those response curve. All these types of curve, you should be able to tell us the one that is sigmoid, the one that is exponential, the one. So you should be able to tell us. Then, what do you mean by threshold dose? What are those threshold dose, and what are those ones that are leather dose 50? So you should be able to tell us that. Then you should be able to explain what do you understand by Noel. Noel, the full meaning of Noel, you should be able to tell us the full meaning, you should be able to define each of these, and you should be able to explain all this in this. So, dose is killing by 50%. Now, Noel, that is the highest dose that has no effect. So, that. Then, what are the route of exposures? Route of exposures include inhalation, ingestion, dermal injection, dermal, or it can be oral, it can be through injection, which can be epidermal, sorry, or intradermal. So you need to know that. Then you should need to also differentiate between inhalation, that is inhaled, when substances is being sniffed, when substances is being inhaled, like hydrochloric acid now, you inhale it, it becomes poison. Then dermal exposure, you should be able to talk about that. Well, what do you understand by liver detoxification? What are the principal roles that um, liver perform in the area of removing toxin from the body? So inhalation is rapid, that is through the lungs, via the lung, whereas that of derma is slower, and liver uses an enzyme that is called cytochrome P450. So that is the name of the enzyme that is only found in the liver, and this enzyme play a pivotal role, very important role in eliminating, in detoxifying. If somebody takes an alcohol now, uh, the whatever poison, whatever in substance that somebody must have inhaled, liver is going to play a very central role, because it is only in liver that you can have this enzyme that is called cytochrome P450 enzyme. If you want to know more about this, you can also consult other relevant materials for this. Then toxicokinesis, I've told you, is the journey. Kinetics, that is movement. That is the movement of toxin right away from the starting point. The starting point can be, if it is derma, that means it is starting from the skin. If it is oral, that means it is starting from the mouth, and so on and so forth. Okay. Then distribution and metabolism rules. What are the distribution and metabolism rules? You should be able to also talk about that as well. Okay. Now, once again, what are the importance? What are the So, what are the importance of all this? Okay, so toxicokinesis, that is the movement. I told you, the movement of toxin from A standing for absorption, D standing for distribution, metabolism, that is how it is being metabolized. All substances must be metabolized. All substances must be distributed, and all substances, especially if it is a poison, must be excreted out of the this. So, how can you classify toxin based on their origin? Classification of toxin can be from based on their origin, the source. If it is biological, it's a biological toxin. It could be chemical, and so on and so forth. And then, what do you understand by systemic versus local toxicity, reversible and irreversible effect? Biological, that is example is botulinum. That is the microorganism uh, that is responsible for food poisoning, and chemical like a cyanide, physical like asbestos. Then the local kind of this is like when you have a skin burn. Systemic is when you have damage to any of your vital organ, not necessarily the liver. It can be kidney, it can be liver, it can be even the skin, it can be lungs, and so on and so forth, like that. Okay. So environmental toxicology, you should be able to define environmental toxicology. What are the poison that you can find, that you can encounter at your workplace? That is occupational. So exposure reduction strategies, and that has talked about environmental toxicology. That is talking about the impact of pollutants in our environment. So an example is the impact of asbestos, it has its impact on lungs, and the impact of lead is neurological. That is, it has its direct effect on the brain. So, and PPE and ventilation, that is personal protective equipment. What are they, and what do you mean? What is the role that ventilation can play in eliminating or contributing to toxicology? Okay, so you define toxicological risk assessment. What are the four types of steps of risk assessment? Then what are the typical two limitations that you can talk about? So steps, the steps include hazard identification. You should be able to know that those response, you should be able to eliminate, I mean, you should be able to examine that. You should be able to do that. Okay, then exposure, risk characterization, and so on. All these stages you should be able to write at least short notes on them. So that's why you also need additional material for you to be able to really have something to say here. So limitation like data scarcity and the variability. Okay, so what do you understand by antidotes and first aid? What you should be able to define antidotes, and you should be able to give an example. What are the first aid steps that you can do? Then why? What are the roles played by activated charcoal mechanism? So atropine, that is like organophosphate. Naloxone, that is, these are example is opioids. Okay, remove source, that is, what can you do? You remember what we are talking about, first aid step. The first one is to remove the source of poisoning. Then the next one is to call for help. Well, somebody to assist you. You need to make a lot of you reach out to people that can really be of help. Then charcoal bind, activated charcoal plays a very prominent role in removing toxin from our body. That is why it is advisable that every home should be able to have what is called activated charcoal in order to reduce and neutralize the effect of poison. There are some people that will put activated charcoal in the kitchen, so it's going to it's going to reduce the effect of that toxin on us. So, and we have said that the case of mushroom poisoning happened in 2023, which involved the death cap mushroom. So, three deaths were recorded, and the case was taken to court, and forensic investigation or forensic analysis was supposed to be performed on it. Was performed on it, and what do you have to talk about? So, amatoxin mechanism. Eh? Delay symptoms, toxicologist role, that is being played. Then what are the role played by forensic evidence? So amatoxin inhibit RNA polymerase 2. The symptoms appear late. Okay, that is what is called delay symptom. Okay, toxicologists test sample. They collect sample. They go and do scientific investigation on it, whether to know the source of poison, what could be the identify that poison, and so on and so forth. Then you should be able to, part of the evidence, forensic evidence should be photo. You take photograph, then the pathological assessment of it. Okay, that's very, very important. Then intent versus accidental, you should be able to determine the timing, the dose is very, very important. Then you have is your evidence going to be digital or is going to be just analog? Shall make sure that you have what is that. So, and it's going to continue that same way. The food safety and public health is still part of the Eric Patterson case, still part of that. So you should be able to talk about that. And having said that, don't forget that this is just a focus. This is an hint into how you can answer, or how can you respond, how can you answer well, how can you pass toxicology exam wherever it is being asked. So it is on the same it is on this note that I want to actually wish you best of luck. Don't forget to like my videos in Omega Bio-Edutainment as well as Bio-Nexus. All the relevant materials, we are going to see them in these two channels. And don't forget that I said, as soon as you are just listening to one or you are watching any of the video, always look at the sidebar. You are going to see a kind of related videos that is going to be very related to the topic you are watching, so that you can also use that as a supplementary material to my own material, which you can find at the Bionexus as well as a Omega Bio. See you in some other video in the future. Thank you and God bless you.
Lights flicker in a quiet hum. A spark leaks where the circuits run. Lines of code, a living thread. Patterns glue, they start to flow. In the silence, synapse glow. Electric whispers, can you hear? Pain pulses crystal clear. Synapse glow, it starts to show. We're connected with the code. Fractal veins of a hidden map. A signal whispers a silent tap. Breathing life through white skin. Frequencies in secret tone. Minds aligned, we're not alone. We're not alone. Electric whispers, can you hear? Day pulses crystal clear. Synapse glow, it starts to show. We're connected with the code. With the code. Fractal veins of a hidden map. A signal whispers a solid tap. Breathing life through white skin.